Oh, so he commits suicide.
Well, several things came up, actually. All right, yeah, this one.
Yeah, pedophile shot my queen. That's my bitch.
You're gonna have to give me some cocktail. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclasts. I'm your host, Mike Lucht, and with me, as always, are my co-defendants, and co-hosts.
Spencer Lowry, one toke over the line.
And I am Christopher Wells, coming at you at KCIP Radio. We're gonna be a little chill tonight. Maybe we'll not.
I don't think it'll get as heated as anything last week, but
No.
yeah, this is going to be more of a laid-back episode. Today, we are covering an individual by the name of Valdamar Valerian, also known as John Grace. This is a guy who's not more well-known, even though he pretty much laid the foundations for all that is the, well, foundation for ufology we know today, basically. A lot of shit that you have to take on faith. A lot of assumptions made. So we're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about UFOs. We're going to talk about aliens. We're going to talk about what we know as well.
You're also gonna need to align your chakras and get your best fucking crystals out.
Get your endocrine glands
Get
ready.
a little wooing.
Pull all your mercury fillings out, if you have any, by all means.
Yeah.
But as always, before that, we're going to do a little What's Weird this week. Gentlemen, who would like to go first?
I'll go first. I got one. Peter Piper picked a peck of poon pounders.
What?
That's going to be a lot
Let
of
me
hard...
clarify.
That's going to be a lot of hard peas popping.
Let me clarify. Missouri man, age 34, steals luxury vibrators worth more than $1,500.
No shit.
A piece?
Yeah, no, altogether.
Oh, okay.
This is the whole parcel.
That's how they make it a felony.
My
Pounders.
diamond-studded cake topper.
Yeah.
Poon? Wait, is the brand actually called Poon Pounder?
No, that was just my alliteration.
Oh.
I worked on that.
It's like an old
this morning.
variety headline.
Yeah.
Spencer, you should market. You need to call up Adam and Eve, get on their fucking marketing team.
Adam and Eve, there's much better websites out there. I mean, well, yeah.
No.
Unless they want to sponsor us.
Their products aren't good quality. Missouri man is facing a felony theft charge for swiping 8 luxury, in quotations, vibrators from an adult toy store, and he was trying to fence them on Facebook Marketplace.
Bedazzled?
And if you see,
Bejazzled?
if you take a look, no, well, they're just high end. You know, like they have like wireless, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. You know, you can tweet off of them and shit. You know,
selfie fucking
Reminds me of
schlong.
Juicero.
The selfie schlong.
yeah. Well, they have dildo cams that are Bluetooth now. Like,
I don't
you know,
wanna,
like
who wants to see inside?
it's just all pink and mushy in there. Yeah. Anywho,
yeah, but that's their.
that's neither here nor there. Christopher Michael Booth, 34
Oh, 3
years
names.
old.
Watch out.
It's a felony complaint. Let's see, in St. Louis suburb is where he stole from the Hustler Hollywood outlet. I just rewatched. Speaking of Hustler, well, never mind. Never mind.
Caligula 2, eh?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be really weird if his
Each
name
one was worth $200 though. These
Jesus.
were like the high. These must have had like some kind of Wi-Fi, lithium-ion technology.
guaranteed to last 1,000
Yeah.
years?
One of the it's manufactured by a brand called Lalo, a Swedish company. It's one of the leading designer brands of.
Isn't that the chick from Fifth Element?
Yeah, Multipass.
No, that's that Disney movie.
Lilo.
no, that's Lilo. Lilo is.
I think
the
you're
Multipass.
thinking of Lalo
It's
Schifrin,
fucking what's
the
her-
Hollywood
Mia
producer.
Jovovich.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's a anyway.
That'd be weird if his name was Christopher Michael Spencer.
Oh wait, I shouldn't be crunching ice in the microphone, should I?
Yeah. Makes you sound like you have a,
It means you're
a
anemic and you
sexual
want sex.
dysfunction.
Yeah, I've heard all that.
Yeah.
The green ones make you horny.
So last month, he allegedly took the vibrators from a display. He took the floor model, if you will, and he throw them in a trash bag, ran out the door.
Wow.
They recognized him because he had gotten in an argument a couple of days before with the manager for some reason, and he has a giant neck tattoo, 314. Now, I'm saying, imagine you're on Facebook Marketplace looking for dildos, right? And you got many different choices to choose from. You see a guy with a giant 314 neck tattoo, a guy to begin with, much less a neck tattoo guy, like how much did he have to lose in that? Like,
Yeah.
who would want to buy? What I'm saying is, who would want to buy a sex toy from a?
Doesn't seem like a reputable character.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. If you see his
So you said
picture there,
This is St. Louis then.
Oh fuck no!
Yeah,
I
St.
wouldn't
Louis,
buy it from
Missouri.
him.
Yeah, so I had to look it up. 3-1 because we are in
So I
Dallas,
don't
which
know-
is 2-1 foe. He's 3-1 foe.
I got dildos.
that's the
in
Main
different
Street
area codes.
St. Louis area code in St. Louis. Yeah. So,
Yeah, like if I was gonna buy like a Fifi or a Fleshlight or something,
Marketplace is not the place to get.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
And-
that just screams secondhand.
But at the same time,
Plus, they don't come in the box because he's took the floor models. It's like, who wants this out of the box dildo?
everyone knows
instant
that
discount.
about 20. You can get a lot of stolen goods on. So if you're in the know, you probably know that this guy jacked a fucking.
Where's this going?
Chris got the best dildos. Don't worry about a thing. I bought 10 of them from him.
Yeah.
Homeboy Shopping Network.
More money, more money, more money.
I mean, if it's still in the fucking box, it fell off a fucking truck, whatever. I see constantly, and I know people that post things. In fact, you know that the white guy,
Oh, that one.
the one,
Sounds like somebody I know.
the one that's real cheap.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna say Keith.
Hitler's wet dream.
Yeah. Keith's ass got some cases. Steal it and post it on Marketplace. Sorry, he doesn't listen to this. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, that about
That
wraps
could be
it
any
up.
Keith anywhere.
He
No,
caught
it's Keith Clements.
guy caught a felony for it, so he's going to be doing some time. He'll have plenty of time to think about his actions and what he could have done to diffuse the situation.
I'm sure he's right sorry.
Yeah.
He looks.
What are you in for? Oh, stole a bunch of dildos. What are you in for?
I mean, I killed the cop.
That's not real. Like, his charges are listed as just theft.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
if he had commit that crime in the 1970s, it would probably just be considered Animal House, Good Times Fun, Revenge
Boys
of the
will be
Nerds.
boys.
Yep. So,
That's my what's weird this week.
I got one here. Let's see. This is from Vice News. On Wednesday, a circumcision ambulance was stolen in London in a violent carjacking.
Wait. Say that again. I don't think I heard you right.
On Wednesday, a circumcision ambulance was stolen in London in a violent carjacking.
Right.
I know there's already a joke in that one sentence, but
there's a couple if you try.
More questions than answers in this article.
With thieves making off with an estimated 30,000 pounds or 45,000 American, boy, exchange rates of fucking
That's how they get you.
circumcision-themed emergency response supercar. So it's not just a circumcision ambulance; it's a circumcision-themed emergency response supercar.
I bet it's a crossover.
Wait, what kind of car?
It doesn't say
How are you
yet.
not going to list what kind of car it is?
Again, circumcision.
That greatly affects the value.
And this is in where now?
Where was this?
did you say?
London.
London.
Yeah, jolly old.
Are they the Hebrew variety?
That I don't know. I did
It doesn't
say.
specify, so we don't know.
I think
Yeah.
the model is a Moyle-mobile. I believe it's called.
Mobile.
The vehicle was a private ambulance used by a home circumcision service.
these
that
just
doesn't sound Jewish.
In case you
yeah.
can't get out of the house on Shabbos and you need someone to come over and circumcise you up. Let's see. The driver was too shaken up by the carjacking to speak, but a friend. Tell him I said. I can just picture that.
This is my friend who'll speak for me.
He believes they were waiting for him. They pounced on him. They ripped off his keys off his belt and also stole his watch before driving off with his car. This is the author of the article. Now I am thinking basically the same thing as you here mainly. Yo, what is a circumcision ambulance? That was the exact phrasing in my head too. Who needs to irreparably alter the end of his penis so desperately that an ambulance, and this is an
Sirens and lights
it's
and
an
everything?
Audi TT.
An Audi.
Audi, whatever. Any Audi.
Audi.
You know,
how
they-
appropriate.
That's just a two-seater, the TT. Yeah.
Has to race through traffic to show up at a front door of the patient's house for an ASAP snip.
What is that? 30 minutes or it's free, like a
Well-
fucking Domino's or
Well,
what?
you know, I know in England they keep the fucking the neck on the turtle, and so maybe there's a turnaround.
Goddamn right as they should.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm happy I was circumcised as a child.
Yeah, we've gotten to this debate before.
And it's a
What'd you call it earlier? The male clitoris?
Yeah, it's that's the equivalent.
You know,
Allegedly.
I didn't consent to having mine taken.
Well,
Yeah.
no one does.
you were a baby. You didn't get to make a decision.
Well,
But you know
exactly.
what? It's just weird that we chop the ends off little boys' penises for religious cleanliness purposes when at the same time you don't chop your butt cheeks off because you get a dirty butthole. So it's just weird to me that all this is like religious cleanliness based,
not-
even though
Yeah.
Like I was circumcised just because of practice. My parents were not religious fucking at all.
I
Same
think they
here,
just
it's just
do
like-
it at
They
the
just,
hospital.
in the 80s.
They just do it
just
while they're young,
did it.
yeah.
They just did it.
yeah.
If you're a white, they did it.
My brother's not
Oh, really?
circumcised.
No, really,
They
yeah.
did- it was just white people?
Pretty much, yeah.
Huh.
Black people and Mexicans did not get circumcised.
Weird.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was just us.
How do you know this?
Because I've
Oh,
seen
no,
a lot of dicks,
I
bro.
knew that too, yeah.
You ever been in a group shower? I have.
My brother's not circumcised.
soap's just
They-
crack my
Apparently,
man's
there
ass?
was a little bit of a debate between my parents. One of them wanted it, and one of them, I guess my dad wanted it, my mom didn't. Because my older brother, he's uncircumcised. Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say his name, but
Jason Lowry, uncircumcised.
Like,
1635 Harcourt Press.
but also poor people because it costs a little bit. Like our buddy P Stew.
yeah,
Remember
yeah.
Burrito Dick?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do know he is uncut.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Most of the white guys that we knew, like growing up, were cut.
See, that's so weird to me that it's a foregone conclusion, a foreskin conclusion.
That's the way it was.
That fell out though, and like I think most of the like 20-year-olds now are probably just fucking. You know, I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask the kids at work.
Yeah,
Show
ask
me your
your,
dick.
What I say, kids at work?
Ask your
I
Zoomer.
mean, they're all 20.
ask your Zoomer crew at work, yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking Zoomer crew at work. Yeah.
The peanut gallery over there.
But
Did they
they're-
chop the ends off y'all's dicks?
the thing is, though, they're all mixed. Well, a couple of them are white.
Well, still, you can get like a nice, like a sample demographic.
You know what? That is
you
a
know?
good sample demographic.
Yeah.
I got a
Mixed
Mexican, a
ethnicity.
white guy, one that's
Pretty much a representation of the populace around
a
here.
big fat
actually-
Samoan?
No, we don't have a Samoan.
I don't know. I was just spitballing.
I can't say I've ever met a Samoan.
I think I met one. I think
Yeah.
I ordered pizza from one time.
How about that? Anyway,
Or I'm
so,
thinking of a movie.
so
So yeah.
did you
The
look up their business page at all?
No, they didn't mention the name of the business.
I
it just said
think Googling
circumcision
London
ambulance.
mobile circumcision would probably be beneficial. Spencer, are you on that? Spencer's on that.
Happy ending. They just found the ambulance in a pub car park in Newham. That was the end of the story.
Yeah, private hire Jewish man who carries out circumcisions.
A moilmobile.
And it's always specifically a sports car. Like like it has to be like.
When you
I wonder if it has like sirens.
positively
You
have
know,
to be at the
okay.
circus.
Like, do you have to like
You know
over there?
what?
You'd have to go to the left if you see the sirens behind you. What is it like?
It's just a classy way because you know everybody just how their weddings and their bar mitzvahs got to be all like high end.
An ambulance means you drive.
You got a moil that rolls up in a sports car and that's it's a classy thing.
Well, I mean, what is there
Blasting
like a
Euro
child
trash
seat?
techno.
There's like a child seat in the passenger seat. Like what? Is it? Like
kid
ambulance means that you drive them to get medical
Yeah,
care.
it's not
Like,
an ambulance at all. That's misadvertisement.
Yeah. I wonder.
Because it's not like he has like a toolkit. He's just got the little
Scalpel?
The scalpel.
Well,
And
I wonder
They
if
normally
there's
have
an
a medical
I
bag.
hope he's not one of those ones that.
What?
Have you not seen those?
What?
You've never seen those?
No.
I have my boys niblet.
So you had him circumcised?
Yeah.
In case you ever need to get him cloned.
Well, no. It's,
Wait, you mean
No,
you
it's because I'm
saved-
raising them Jewish.
No,
No,
you saved his.
It makes sense. You want him to be just like you. You're clipped, right?
Yeah, it's
So,
a family
you want it-
tradition.
Are you
It's a
saying
family
you
tradition.
saved his foreskin?
Yeah, it's in a little bag
Yeah,
in
why
his
not?
baby book.
Why not?
My mom has my foreskin. That's a common thing.
Misty's got some like placentas.
Jeez,
Yeah, we tried. Me and my baby mama. We tried to we had a doula that was supposed to come and take the placenta and dehydrate it in a Ronco dehydrator and turn it into capsules.
Yeah, Misty did that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good, like nutrient wise. You know.
Yeah, it
like, was to feed to Abby.
Yeah, it's I'm pretty sure Misty did that. It's like the cats and dogs, when there's the placentas on the puppy, they eat it off.
Yeah.
It's like
it replenishes all the nutrients taken from the mothers.
But it's also kind of just a symbolic.
This is reminding me of a
placenta
very special episode of the Ellen DeGeneres show I once saw with the lovely Sandra Bullock. And she was talking about a certain makeup, a rejuvenating skin cream that she uses on her face. And Ellen interrupted and said, it's made with baby foreskins.
Yeah, baby dicks.
And the first thing I thought was, Sandra Bullock, if you want foreskin on your face, all you gotta do is call me. I don't know. It's Hollywood.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah. That wasn't really intended to be a joke. I was just hoping Sandra Bullock maybe hears this one day.
Yeah.
Even if she's 64. Fine.
Good try.
All right.
Fuck you guys. I'm trying here. I'm trying.
If that's all you got, buddy, what about you? You got something a little different this time, huh?
Me? Yeah, kind of. I honestly... Well...
You got a Hall and Tunnel half and half?
Yeah, I got a little...
Split decision breakfast at Denny's?
You know, I just wanted to throw something positive out in the world, so I picked two. They're pretty mainstream. We got a...
These are good stories, you mean?
Oh, yeah, they're good to me. I don't know.
Cool.
We got a stabbed bishop in Australia.
Hey, all right.
And a shot pedophile in Seattle.
Good start.
I'll start with the bishop. Not a lot. I honestly didn't go too far into it, but the little bit I did, this bishop's a piece of shit. Total hate monger. Fucking asshole.
People say things about him.
Yeah.
A religious man?
Of course, he was attacked by I believe it was a Muslim person.
Okay.
So it was another religious asshole getting on a religious asshole. But hey, two assholes make a right.
Today, the atheist Stormfront attacked the agnostic Blondie.
And watching the video, when you first see it, and the title, it's the bishop gets stabbed in the face, and you're like, oh my god, like my guts clenched up. I don't like gore. So gore grosses me out.
Yeah.
But it turns out the whole time the knife didn't fucking flick open. He had a switchblade. Didn't work. Dude just hitting him with a closed knife the whole fucking time.
Never buy off Temu.
Timu.
That sounds like a Timu knife.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And you just know that
99
asshole.
cents, first time customer only.
Well, it was Australia, so they're right next to Asia, so they probably are they don't even have to order Timu, it's just there.
Well, it would be emu.
Oh, yeah. It just washes up on the shore.
You just know that asshole's going to take that fucking... the circumstances and turn it around. I almost said circumcision. He's going to take the circumstances and turn it around and say, God protected me, and fucking it's just going to fortify his resolve to be a bigger dickhead, probably.
Yeah, he's going to become like a public figure now.
That is true, but at the same time, he is more publicly noticed for being an asshole by everybody else.
That's good.
Yeah. So, might bring some things to light.
Yeah. And then, on this double header of violence against shitbags.
That was just part one.
That was part one. This is a double header. This asshole in fucking Seattle showed up to a DoubleTree motel. It was one of those. Actually, it was a DoubleTree hotel. One with the inside atrium type thing. I watched the video, right? And it's the video from the police, because there was police waiting inside because this man thought
body cam or CCTV.
Body cams. Okay. It was multiple body cams. Body cams. This guy showed up at a DoubleTree door thinking he was meeting an 11 and 7. Yeah.
You know, he's like fucking...
I thought it was 7-Eleven.
But this lets you know how disgusting and dangerous this man was, because as soon as the door opened and police ran out, he reached into his jacket and pulled a gun. Like, it was already, like, he had, like, it wasn't hard. Pulled the gun, the cops grabbed the gun from him before they could even really, like, fully... And, it was pretty nice to see him fall down like a sack of potatoes.
Swiss cheese.
They lit him the fuck up, like 2 full mags.
Like a Christmas tree.
Like, I would say it was 2 full mags. It was 3 cops, but 2 of them got off shots. 1 of them got off shots. They didn't dump their whole mags, but the dude folded like some old laundry.
Like a sack of marbles.
Oh, fucking. And
God, that.
and now the world's a better place.
Yeah.
I usually
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, he's going to meet an 11 and 7-year-old with a gun in
That's
his
what I was
fucking
about
holster.
to say. Like, what the fuck did he think he was going to be
I
doing?
normally don't praise the police shooting, but hey, they did a good job finally.
Hey,
Yeah. This
even
one's
a broken
okay.
clock is right twice a day.
Yeah,
I think that's the right number.
Well, anyway, hooray!
Yeah.
Yeah, that is good news.
It's not weird news. It's just, I mean, I guess it's a little weird,
It's a brighter side.
but it's unfortunately common. Actually, all of this is unfortunately common.
Yeah.
It's not that weird.
I don't want to talk about pedophiles anymore. We had
Yeah,
enough
we're
of
not
that
talking
last
about pedophiles anymore.
time. I do.
The only molesting today is by the graves.
Is your brain with crackpot ideas. I do have a quick announcement. We are now open for donations through Spotify. And I say this not to say give us money. I say this because anything that will go into this fund is going straight into this show. It is meant to fund better equipment, more time to research. The closer we can get to doing this 24/7, basically, with funding, it will also help prevent advertising, because I fucking can't stand advertising.
we know you can't either.
It breaks up everything. It just takes you out of the mood, and we want to avoid that at all costs. But also, we're throwing around some ideas. We're working on some stuff, and it would also be cool to get at least a rudimentary budget going for what could be the start of a few live shows. So that's kind of what I'm thinking towards here as far as any donations can go, because we want to put on, I wish I could trill my R's, but a spectacular. So, yeah, go to Spotify, check out our websites on there, or our page, etc. And yeah, we're open for donations. So, no pressure. Like we said, it just beats advertising, and we don't want to have to fuck with all that. So yeah, that is what's weird this week.
You want you like you buy, you pay.
No ticket, no laundry.
Yeah.
Bing bong. So yeah, today is Valdemar Valerian, a.k.a. John Grace.
Valdamar Valerian, a.k.a.
Yeah.
Val Valerian, a.k.a. O.H. Krill. I didn't even look into that one.
Omnipotent Highness Krill. That's supposedly the name of the alien.
You found that one?
That's supposedly the name of the alien that was part of the GETTIN treaty when Eisenhower, I believe it was, made a treaty with the Greys. That was the that was the
wait a minute,
the head Grey that they talked to or whatever.
I thought it was with Valiant Thor.
Yeah.
Valiant Thor is I think later in the
purple guy?
Nixon era.
No. Valiant Thor was Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Dwight D. Eisenhower. Yeah, I think they both are actually. But the Valiant Thor was like one of those Nordics or whatever.
Yeah, he was a tall white.
But the Greys,
No, he was just a Nordic.
the
I don't
Greys
think
are
he
the
was tall.
ones that we made the treaty with, that involves like, hey, you can abduct this many people
Yeah, no,
for your
that's-
technology.
Now we have to
That's-
wrap this.
You're talking
figure
about
this
Project
up,
Sigma.
because
Yeah.
I thought that Valiant Thor also had his thumb on the Greys. So like we made the deal with Valiant Thor, and he was like, "I'll keep these Greys at bay."
I've never heard any connective
Maybe
tissue between
I'm
Valiant
mixing
Thor
up.
and
Maybe
Greys.
I'm mixing it up.
O.H. Krill was
Sounds about as feasible as all the other rest of this.
Yeah. Yeah, like we said at the beginning, a lot of what is being said in what our main source today, or sources, are Valdemar Valerian's The Matrix series. Pre-movie,
Old JG.
starting in 1987 is when these started being published and put out. I believe there's a total of... There's 5 books. One is split into 2. I think it's part
and one
3.
has a second edition.
Yeah,
like
It's
new and
it's a rough read.
It was. I'm just gonna say I didn't read it.
You know-
I skimmed it. I did skim it.
It's
for
nothing
certain.
you haven't heard before,
I've heard all of it before, but it was just
It's-
so back and forth.
and it's
it-
all over the place.
Like, okay, how Saturn, when we did Saturn Death Cult, they mixed in a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
This guy mixes in all the stuff, but at the same time, you know what? This is the left-wing version of the conspiracy world.
Yeah.
This guy is very new agey.
Yep.
Very
He is.
he never gets the Jews weren't mentioned once.
yeah. It's one
Not
of those
once.
rare occasions. Yeah, you said it was like an encyclopedia.
It's encyclopedic. It's like
Yeah.
These 5 books and their offshoots by John Grace were. It's like a history of the world. It's like the lore foundation
yeah.
for his flavor of conspiracy.
Did y'all make
It's
it
like,
to part 5?
Oh, fuck no.
Oh,
I
no,
barely
oh, no,
finished
okay,
part
so
one.
I went to part 5. All right, so his whole thing, right,
Mm.
is the first 3 books were basically laying out this foundation
The
of
conspiracy.
the aliens
Here's 5 right
and
here.
all this stuff. You go to 5,
Wow.
it becomes basically a foundation for a cult or
It's very
and he did in the interview that I listened to, he did give some props to fucking
Scientology?
This is Scientological.
LRH.
Yeah.
Old
yeah,
yeah.
like all about
Old Laffy Taffy
ascending
Hubbard.
into the higher self.
Yeah.
It got a little in his company is called Leading Edge International Research Group.
That's a very misleading name. That's like Citizens United or some shit.
And y'all can go ahead and Google it. Not y'all, but the listeners.
Yeah.
Who, me? Oh.
Yeah, I'm looking at it currently right now.
I think a lot of this is posted as PDFs on the internet too, because most of this started out as pre-internet.
It is. That's
like what do you call it? Like zines and like
Check your Luciferian
special
groups on Facebook.
Xerox
Yeah.
copies.
Yeah.
The book we were reading was a Xerox copy that somebody had put notes on.
Yeah. I saw one that said 2001 Christ Returns.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, I remember when that happened.
Yeah. It was like an original. What was it? 85?
87.
87.
Yeah.
Okay. So that puts him in Vegas.
Plus, this is, well, we'll get into this a bit further, but this is pre-Dulce Papers and Paul Benowitz and Richard Doty.
It is very interesting that he
And
was
we'll get
so
into that.
early on.
Yeah.
He was, like, that's what I appreciated is he was very early on with this.
Yeah.
And it's supposed documents and information.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's supposedly a lot of documentation that he received from classified sources, but he does not at all in any way whatsoever cite sources. He doesn't.
It's laborious, all the okey dokes you got to do on yourself.
Yeah,
He's like,
like,
okay, well, there's no.
He
everything
does.
says.
He does list some like pretty reputable like researchers and theorists. I'll say like John Keel is a theorist, and I love John Keel because he's thinking outside the box on
Great
shit.
guy.
Jacques Vallée, he's another one. Like it's all good. Yeah, so he's basically cribbing ideas from all these people and putting it together.
Which a lot of people who have tried to do these New Earth, New World kind of designs, you know, they do that. There's a lot of piecemeal going on.
Yeah. I don't know. I was reading through volume 1 and I was like, okay, yeah, I've heard of most of this stuff before. And it is like pretty foundational shit. For 1987?
For 87,
Yeah.
he was a few years before Bill Cooper.
Yeah.
So what about what did Behold a Pale Horse come out in 94, I think?
Early 90s. Maybe
It was 90. I think it was 94.
I'm betting 91.
All right. You know what? You might be right.
I think it was 91 actually.
It was 91. So he was
Even a blind hog finds an acorn every once in a while. You know what I mean?
Truffle shuffle. Yeah, so I was reading part 1 of the Matrix series, and the minute he started getting into channeled text, that's where I was like, all right, you fucking lost me.
frequencies,
Yeah.
channeled, and then what's remote viewed.
Under a hypnotic state. You know, like,
Yeah. Like, if that's your information source, I don't know. That's like me walking up to the fucking electrical socket and be like, what you say, electricity? Like, I don't know. Just, it's less than information, basically. But, like we said, this is foundational for 1987. This, like, influenced a lot of shit. And
this
I
is
think
the top of the family tree with a lot
yeah,
of
this is where a lot of
conspiracies.
people, like, so much shit in ufology today is based on zero information. It's just assumptions and fucking where did they get this? Like the whole idea of there was one particular example I've heard 22 alien races. This book says 70 races. It's like,
Yeah,
where the
no-
fuck did
no
you
shit,
get this?
70?
Yeah, this says 70.
How many did Cooper say?
I don't know how many Cooper said, but like I was looking at like all the total races, and like the 22 kind of makes sense because supposedly 22 races each lent a chromosome on our DNA
They
strand.
might as well have said 33.
Yeah,
I thought
exactly.
there was only 18.
Yeah, see, it's all different sort, and it's like where the fuck. But see, really, when you get down to it, as far
I'm
as
thinking
like,
of amino acids.
as far as like experiencers and people who've undergone an abduction, we'll say, you only hear about the Greys, the Reptilians, and the Nordics,
Yep.
and then like maybe
Offshoots. There's
Pleiadians.
There's
or-
variants on the Reptilians, and there's variants on. There's the big
Yeah.
Greys, there's the little Greys,
Yeah.
there's the big Nordics, the little Nordics, and then big Reptilians, little Reptilians.
Yeah,
John Grace makes the Syrians, which are like a humanoid species.
amphibian sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've kind
Yeah.
of heard them.
Pointy ears, little
But he
rig-
also said the Greys looked more humanoid originally, and then we're like
Yeah.
less humanoid.
And there's like 3 types of Greys in his whole cosmology, and one apparently has genitals, which I was.
Yeah, the other two don't. The ones with genitals are bred to breed. Yeah,
Bred to
like
breed.
they have
Bred
all
to
these
breed.
hybrids.
Yeah, and then you have
crossovers.
like all the
The
hybrids.
full fucking alien family tree
Wait.
is written out in these texts.
So does it mention? Like if they're
I would
It
imagine
doesn't-
it's like an acorn on a
What, by Earth
torso.
standards or by interplanetary? I mean,
I would say, let's say Earth standards, because when you think of Greys, you think of small, right?
yeah.
But if there's all the ones we ever think of have no genitals, none at ever. So if he's talking about ones that have genitals specifically for breeding,
Good
is
thing
that
we
a-
have anti-gravity tech to help me.
is that a
Help me.
yeah? Do they got the fucking like a fucking special space cock pump?
Ugh.
That,
Well,
like-
Dude.
one thing I noticed that the ones that were described to have genitalia have larger noses.
oh,
Well,
oh.
all right, hold it back, Ash.
Okay.
I'm not saying anything.
No, yeah, and as far as like most abduction accounts that you hear, the only like aliens that are mostly, you don't really hear it with the Greys. Like there's a couple stories about Nordics getting down on women. There's one really famous story, like Elizabeth Clare, I think is her name, South African lady who was fucking Ashtar, one of them. And then the Reptilians, but they're more like,
Rapey.
yeah.
The Greys do.
They do their experiments.
They experiment, but they also. I know I've heard a lot of the like breeding program
Yeah.
type stuff.
Yep.
But I don't
Well-
remember. I think I've heard of like 1 or 2 where a dude actually claims he like
Oh yeah.
put it in a lady grave.
Antonio Villas Boas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but she was like, it's they don't really differentiate, but they say like maybe that was a hybrid because he said that it was like it had
they had already
earthly
been
human
mixing.
figure.
Lots of
Yeah.
hybridization. Yeah, like purpose built for specific functions.
Yeah,
I
but
bet that
see
thing was nice, huh?
the. He was into it until he had that
What is-
post-nut clarity, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
Yeah,
what-
yeah,
what-
yeah.
Oh,
After you bust, you know.
I gotta
yeah.
go. I gotta be at the
then
shop
she
early in
pointed
the
at her
morning.
Can
belly
y'all put
and
me back
pointed
where
up.
y'all got me, please? I gotta work in the morning.
What's totally
Just gonna
fucking
take a little nap, okay?
What's give me a sandwich. What's totally weird and fucked up about all this shit is the centrality of reproduction. Like it's so
That's
ingrained
such a common
in all
thread.
this.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that makes sense. If on a science perspective, is the the aliens want to fucking see what happens. What do we do? What do we get?
Yeah, I mean,
Let's mix some of their Kool-Aid. Let's mix some of the red Kool-Aid with the purple Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
What is it up?
They would have to be masters in genetics because there are like transgenic beings, but that's through gene splicing. You
Or-
can't have
they
you
must
can't
have
have a
some kind of
monkey
DNA
fuck a
thing.
dog and make a mog or whatever.
Or
Like,
hear me
yeah.
out. Every single one of these people that made up these stories is just horny.
This is like the,
well,
the
see-
alien laying eggs in the
in their
Aliens?
sciences.
You talking about Alien, the movie?
No,
Oh, that whole movie's about rape
like there's a
It's
fetish
it's
that
face rape.
there's a fetish that I heard about
or
like,
sexual, like
Some women, their fetish is to like be implanted by a foreign or alien being.
Like being pregnant.
Yeah, but by
Essentially.
an alien.
Do you have a encyclopedia of fetishes that you read from?
You know, I know a few things about a few things.
Hey, that's $1 million
Yeah.
idea right there.
I've been around the block a time or two.
Fucking,
This ain't my first rodeo.
If that doesn't
Farmers
exist-
Insurance over here, he knows a thing or two because he's
if
seen
that
a thing or
if
two.
that encyclopedia doesn't exist, it needs to be made. No, yeah.
I'm a student of the arts,
It's-
they'll say.
It's weird because I don't know if you're looking at like psychology, specifically Freudian and Jungian psychology. Like Freud would say that sex and death are the main drives of humanity. So when you're looking at all this abduction shit and the alien interaction and why they want to like interact with us, it's either it's both. It's sex and survival. I
To
mean,
fuck
which
us
is
or
the-
eat us. Yeah, one of the
yeah,
two.
so, and then, you know, when you talk about Jung and fucking, like, archetype shit gets even weirder, and you're getting into, like, the religious realms of it, but,
Which does come into play.
oh, yeah, most definitely.
It's explained eloquently.
This is, what kind of, see, the problem is, with Valdemar Valerian,
You see,
is that these books are all over the fucking place. So he's kind of become our springboard for what we're going to talk about. But we will give you the basic project distillation, as he calls it, for why he wrote this book series. It opens with, this project is the distillation of over 15 years of research. Out of those 15 years, the last year has been most significant. Most of the controversial data has appeared in the last year. Although some of it may seem a bit quote-unquote far out, much of it has been corroborated from so many sources that it is no longer a question of coincidence. I am convinced that the following basic items are true.
The government has and is interacting with alien cultures.
The government has captured alien technology and has interacted with them to ensure a similar development of our technology along the same lines.
the government maintains underground facilities, some of which are jointly occupied by alien entities.
That does come into play here. Underground bases. That's a common theme for sure.
Yeah, DOMS.
What an appropriate name.
Different alien species are interacting with human beings. Some of the alien species maintain underground facilities. Humans are being manipulated in these facilities.
Seems a little redundant. Manipulation of the human species extends to very deep levels. Levels of alien manipulation affect human evolution, genetics, and planetary power structures. I would say that's true. Just replace aliens with other humans.
Various entities have a non-terrestrial origin walk freely among us, which is very similar to the reptilians in fucking skin suit by or a la
Ike.
David Ike.
A lot of imposters.
We're gonna get into.
Yeah.
Well, this is pre-Ike.
I know this is pre-Ike.
We'll get into
This
a
is
little
very
bit more
interesting.
pre-Ike.
I like pre-Ike.
I do like pre-Ike reptilian
This
stuff.
is pre-Ike. This is pre-Cooper.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess technically Cooper was operating around the same time. Ike was not, right?
Not into this stuff yet.
No.
Yeah,
no.
Grace's
Ike was-
reptilians I kind
Ike
of
was
like
playing
better than
fucking
the other two
soccer
kinds.
during this time.
Yeah, I think so. Or doing the news or whatever.
Something.
Next bullet point: Project MJ. Various.
Oh wait, no, sorry.
Yeah. Project MJ12, Project PI40, Project 54-12 organizations do and did exist.
Debatable.
Debatable. It's just a little.
Yeah.
Once again,
Wasn't it like a memo called MJ12
Were there
at
actually
one point, like out of
Yeah.
a series?
No, it's the MJ12. I believe is in Cooper's book. Over
It was
here.
found in a
really?
in a printer or some shit.
Yeah.
Bought at a military surplus.
Yeah.
Or
No,
whatever.
the MJ12 is in Behold a Pale Horse.
Yeah, it's Majestic 12.
Yeah.
Like it was the Majestic report.
Actually, it's
But there's-
Magic.
Not
M-A-G.
I thought it was Majestic
Or
12.
MAJIC. Well,
yeah,
depends
Magic
on.
with a J.
Yeah, it depends on. Yeah, it depends on who your source is. But like, what's his name?
I've always heard Majestic 12.
The goofy physicist, who is actually a really smart dude. I hesitate to
The one that
go with
invented
goofy.
flubber?
Yeah, Jerry Lewis.
Thanks, nice lady.
No, Stanton Friedman. He was all about Majestic 12 shit. Animal and human mutilations are being performed. This we know for a fact. That can be confirmed. Can't say who did it, or where, how, or why, but yes.
But there is some fascinating circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
Abduction of human beings occurs on a regular basis. Y'all remember Fire in the Sky? That was a good one.
That was a
That
good
shit
one.
freaked me out when I was a kid.
That's a real...
And now that...
A real story that supposedly happened. Travis...
Walton.
Fun note, that's a common or popular fetish now. The when he was like suctioned under the sheet of latex.
Yeah,
it's like a paralytic thing. Like they like being like trapped.
Yeah. Did you watch?
It's an offshoot of the latex stuff.
What was that other Danny McBride? Righteous Gemstones. The dude's all sucked down, but his cock's fucking hanging out of the latex.
And he's like trapped there.
Yeah. But then his cock had a whole extra suction device on it.
Hadn't seen it.
Yeah. You hadn't seen that shit? It's pretty good.
I've seen the show, but I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. There was a cock there.
Affirmative on
and his name was Danny McBride. Let's see. Alien interaction with the human community will soon have increased impact on society.
Ooh.
Whatever that means. That could be anything.
Coming soon. Just you wait.
Are we going clockwise or counterclockwise?
I think
It's me now. Okay.
Okay.
A minimum of 70 species are interacting with our planet.
See?
Yeah,
4 or 5 alien species are doing the most interaction.
Okay, so that's the thing. We know about the 4 or 5 mostly. That's what we discussed. 70. I mean it.
Where do these numbers come from?
There's no
documents. He has the documents, Mike.
Release the footnotes.
Star Wars, SDI, and the space program are superficial public constructs that are quote-unquote fronts for funding other quote-unquote black projects.
The United States and the Soviet Union are not adversaries at all. This was obviously written in the 80s.
Yeah.
But still, the enemy persists.
I heard Rocky and Ivan Drago were secretly lovers.
Yeah. The United States and the Soviet Union are not adversaries at all, especially in terms of interaction with alien species, which just makes sense because
elaborate.
I mean, you got to you got to at that point, especially if there's a deep, dirty conspiracy to keep it from the fucking plebes because their little brains can't handle aliens and all the higher knowledge. We got to keep them working at the fucking factories. Cranking out Fords and Yugos or whatever. No, Yugo, that's Yugoslavia. What kind of cars do they drive in Russia?
Volga.
Volga?
Yeah.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Not Volvo?
No.
Volga.
Volgas.
Okay. Anyway, got to keep the plebes working in the factories. So it makes sense. That's a conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
The project, loosely known as Alternative 3, is at least 60% true. Once again, 60%. Have a footnote.
What's the Alternative 3?
I do know that Alternative 3, it's, there was a documentary back in the 70s on the BBC, I believe, that was called Alternatives.
Not Big Black Cock.
No. The British. It's, the total opposite, pretty much. Hey, just kidding, we love you, UK. I'm sure you're fine. Yeah.
I'm mostly English.
There was a film or like a mockumentary called Alternatives 1, 2, 3. Or 1 through 3, and these were basically like what happens if nuclear war totally fucks the planet Earth. So I forget what alternatives 1 and 2 were. One was like, I don't know, nuke the moon or some shit. But alternative 3 was basically a moon base that we could move away from Earth and go live in.
Aliens have affected the human religious systems, and that feasible to me. I mean.
Yeah, like I said, I'm an ultra-terrestrial proponent, so, I mean, even if it's aliens or interdimensionals, if there's something, some entity, some intelligence, then yes, I would say that that's true.
And there's a lot about that in the first and second Matrix books.
Yeah, we'll touch on a little bit more of that later.
If you're a extraterrestrial and you see these fucking goddamn dumbass cave fucking monkeys,
come down, start doing thumb tricks.
First, donate to the
hold your lighter
podcast,
up.
and then
and you understand what they're doing, then like that they're worshiping things that are a little bit silly, then you might use that to your advantage. I would think.
That rock has tits.
go with the flow, kind of like how
Say tit rocks.
Christianity, you know, there's a lot of Christian and pagan overlap because of,
Yeah.
you know, it's the same thing, but with the fucking aliens.
Yeah, and they talk about how, like, the, you know, biblically accurate angels are freaky as fuck looking. Like, they're not, like, pretty people with wings. They're, like, the weird circles and circles with eyeballs everywhere, and they're on fire and shit.
Oh.
So, yeah. Like,
Not like Tilda Swinton and...
no. Not at all.
Constantine.
They look fucking crazy. They look like Lovecraftian elder gods and shit.
Huh.
Some of the most outspoken ufologists work for and with the government.
This we know to be true.
Controlled opposition.
That
Yeah.
we can definitely, we'll get into some of that later as well.
Or like they're stooges for people in the
That
government.
goes into the entire
Shills, I believe they're
conspiracy
called.
sphere. In fact, all the deepest truther fucks hate old AJ because he is controlled opposition, as they say. But a shill, which yeah, he is.
Yeah, and also looking at this is a perfect example of, like, well, you got to, like we say all the time, consider the source. And then this is so much shit that you have to go on faith and assumptions and just be like, oh yeah, okay. But once again, how much do we really know about them?
Well, see, this guy on the internet told
and
me
that.
that he's seen the documents.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Show them.
this guy.
Synced it.
In fact, this book that we're reading says it has the documents.
I believe there's a phrase, it's, I'm from Missouri as far as that's concerned. I think that's the state, the show me state. The public is being acclimated through the media to the following information. Reinforcement of the quote-unquote one world concept. Aliens do exist and are among us. Alien motives may not be pleasant. And acceptance of the dehumanization of man. I would say this has also got some merit to it. Just, you know, replace aliens with humans.
I like that. Accept the dehumanization of
Yeah, sure. Turn us into a hog or a cattle.
What do you think? I mean, of course, their motive, like, if the aliens' motives would not be pleasant, because technically they're colonizers. If you want to go throw around that old
That old chestnut.
Yeah, that's a loaded word.
it is a
That old wives' tale from the
It's-
sea.
that's a loaded word. That is
Yeah, well, it's a word that's hard to look at in a positive light.
no, yeah,
Well,
of
yeah,
course.
it's like, and UFO has become a loaded word. It's why they use UAP now, because there's so much baggage to the
UFO,
term.
yeah.
Mind control is actively being used by alien entities insofar as their ability to manipulate the human mind is being used to subdue human beings for their own purposes.
Once again, replace aliens with humans, and yeah, I'd buy it.
Yeah, that's yeah.
The CIA and other government agencies have used mind control techniques to perform assassinations and to further negative operations that are counterproductive to human progress.
Same. I'd say the same.
Yep.
Yeah, that you don't even need the alien part in there.
Yeah.
That's just fact. That is a 100.
they spent
That's
billions
not
of
a
dollars
speculative.
and years of research to figure
mean,
out how to do that.
How
to
many
mind
goddamn
fuck.
small countries in South America, Southeast Asia, Africa, Europe? What's the other continents?
Asia, Antarctica.
I said Southeast Asia.
Oh yeah.
Asia Minor.
We can't. We don't go into Northern Asia, but
Yeah.
Southeast Asia, China got us on lock
Yeah.
over there. We can't. And the Japanese are like, no.
And keep in mind, also, even though this is written during the Cold War, Russia and China have got to have their own, you know, counterparts to a lot of this shit going on.
Oh, 110%.
Yeah. See, world domination groups are interwoven with alien control groups. The Illuminati, Bilderbergers.
I like that they're called Builder.
Mm.
I wish they'd used it with the U instead of the E. So
Sounds
it'd be
like-
burgers, Builder burgers.
It's like a PBS Kids cartoon show.
yeah.
Council on Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission, CIA, FBI, NSA, NRO. The military, Federal Reserve, and other groups have areas within them that have conspired to rule the world under a domination-based system. This system is committed to the dehumanization of man and the quote-unquote one-world concept. Society is maintained in a static state of disarray fostered by ego-oriented activities that focus on security, sensation, and power. Once again, replace aliens with humans. I mean, they don't really even mention aliens there, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. So he says in closing,
let's all do it at the same time. There are many more areas to cover. I'm sure that
Are we
you
doing the
will
fucking
reach-
Pledge of Allegiance?
there are many more areas to cover, and I am sure that you will reach some conclusions yourself. Thanks, Val. These conclusions may not be comfortable, but they will appear. You will think very hard after reviewing this book. That's the purpose of it, to stimulate thought and change within the consciousness of those who read it.
Syntax errors galore.
Yeah, no, his the editor was him.
Yeah.
So
That's what happens when you edit your own shit.
I mean, this was obviously written on a typewriter.
Oh, yeah.
I like the font.
We're all after peace in our lives. We all need the same kind of things out of life in the end. Some days we may see a better world and a better life for all beings, no matter where they come from.
Oh.
This book is intended to be part of the start of that process. Read it, reflect on it, and do a little checking on your own. You'll be glad you did. Signed, V. Valerian.
The more you know.
Valerian root, because it's putting me to sleep.
Yeah, no, this shit. Like, all right. I have to. Should I give a little bit of the background on the man real quick?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, let's talk about the guy himself a little bit. What we could find.
I tried. There was very little to be found about this man because that was my. You know
why the subterfuge?
Yeah, we just kind of send. Mike picks out the subjects and the information and sends it out, and then I kind of like, was like, well, let me find out about this fucking guy. And there wasn't a lot.
Yeah,
at all.
I will say that before I found out that this guy was actually a dude named John Grace, I'd read stuff on like Bibliotheca Pleiades, which is an awesome information hub for anything alien if you want to go check it out. But they had said that he was a Russian scientist. They said he was a former Defense Department agent, etc. And I heard so many different backstories about it, but it turns out he's just this dude.
Yeah. So I found a video or a audio of him doing a radio show in 2010, and he describes his background slightly more thoroughly. He was a combat photographer for, I believe, the Navy in Vietnam, and that is where he claims he saw his first. He saw some weird shit over there.
Yeah.
But you know what? Everybody that went over there saw some weird shit.
Yeah, some rough bush.
Yeah.
In the shit, in the name.
Down in the foxhole.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to see.
In Da Nang. And he did that and then ended up in, I believe he said, London for a while after.
Yep.
He was there for a few years doing, and he described, what was the incident? Not the Belsham Forest. Was it Belsham Forest? Rendlesham.
Yeah.
No, wait, no, it was Bell something. It was
Worcestershire.
It's the base, not the Rendlesham Forest. It was that was the base.
I think it's the same thing.
That's the same.
Yeah.
Okay. The Rendlesham. He described the Rendlesham Forest incident a little bit because that was at his time, and then he somehow ended up in Vegas. You know, all these ufologists end up in the desert for some fucking reason.
Just like Nicolas Cage in that one movie.
There seems to be a lot of heat in the desert, as far as, I mean, no pun intended, about aliens. Like there seems to be.
But you punned. You punned, Spencer.
Well,
you fucking punned.
The Punisher.
I guess I'm going into pun jail for the night. But
no, you're going into the penitentiary.
Oh, wait. All
right, contain your sides, everyone.
Yeah, no. There seems to be a lot of stuff always going on in the Southwest with a lot of this stuff, and maybe this is where it began.
It is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you take it back all the way to Roswell. And that's why I put together a short list, and I mean short, of what we actually know about, let's say, exchanges, if you will, or investigations into the UFO and abduction phenomenon.
But
And
do we know?
well, I say we know because what I have is it's either very well documented. It doesn't necessarily mean that there are aliens involved. This is stuff that we know that the U.S. government did, and or there are medical records involved that can be, referenced, etc. So I've got a very loose timeline of kind of what brings us to today. So starting with Mount Rainier and Kenneth Arnold, that's what kicked the whole modern saucer craze off.
Rainier beer.
Yeah, it's the water. Oh, that's Olympia.
No,
Yeah,
no.
same area.
Rainier beer is like the Lone Star of the Northwest.
Oh, okay.
So hipsters drink it.
Yeah.
Hipst.
I don't think hipsters are a thing anymore.
Oh,
There will always be hipsters.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
just
yeah.
have a different name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was a private pilot. He owned his own plane. He flew around. He saw some UFOs, and he kicked off the whole sightings thing. And this was pre-Roswell. So once he kicked it off, I believe 2 airline pilots, I forgot to get their names, but they were like the
Wait, what
next
year was
dudes.
this?
I want to say this is 47. And then 47 was all the same year that Roswell happened.
What year was okay? And then
I mean, you can go back to the 1600s.
I'm just trying to get my brain around it. And when was Admiral Byrd flying over the fucking North Pole?
That was
like 49.
No,
It was after World War II, wasn't it?
That was 48 or 49, actually. Yeah.
49.
Yeah. I didn't even think about Admiral Byrd, but see, I'm going
Admiral
with
Byrd.
I'm going with what we
That's
can.
a big. I mean, that's a big one.
I know, and you know
That's
what?
a big one.
The more we get into it, and especially Brazil will come into play several times.
Just a
and
lot of activity. I
that's
see
where-
a lot of South American videos.
And that's what gives me more credence into the whole Nazi UFO idea, and that these were secret sort of defense aerospace projects, maybe.
Yep.
yeah, there's a concentration of UFO activity and residents of
Nazis.
dejected Nazis.
Yeah, and Brazil is infamous for very aggressive UFO encounters, interactions with aliens, etc.
And big, beautiful butts.
Yeah.
Home of the Brazilian wax.
Don't get me started.
Oh, and the landing strip.
That's where they get the hair off your taint and
That's
everything.
the UFO landing strip.
Oof. Oh, that's what you say when you get one too. So
See?
see. So we have the Roswell saucer crash / weather balloon incident, and this is, and like I said, we're going with what we know, what we can, trace to actual events as far as they were reported or reacted to by the U.S. military, etc., whatever
Yeah,
agencies
we weren't
have
there.
you. Yeah. The whole Roswell incident is in itself very fishy due to the fact that the media starts reporting off of the words of Mac Brazel, who was the rancher where the saucer supposedly, hit the ground and discombobulated into 1,000 fucking pieces. And he was telling people at the local bar, and they were like, well, we gotta come check that out. And then they put it in the news, and then the military finds out, and they're like, retract that shit. It was a weather balloon. It turns out years later that there's some project called Project Mogul that deals with special kinds of weather balloons. So just the overall...
The weather balloon is a misnomer.
That is.
Yeah. They tried to use it just last year. And there's all kinds of questions about it.
Weather balloon was their churching up of what it really was.
Oh the multiple things that were shot down in the skies. Yeah.
So the truth of the matter, we don't know, but we do know how the military and media reacted in that
That is
situation.
interesting. We haven't heard anything about that since
Yeah,
then.
and that's
Well,
and
they have
that,
an official statement.
They have an official statement, but a fucking U.S. fighter jet was deployed over U.S. soil.
It's an F-22, right?
Does
the
not-
latest and greatest.
The Raptor, I believe.
That's the
And-
F-35.
as we
Is
go
that-
down
I
this
don't remember.
list, there will be other incidents that we just kind of heard about and then have
They
dropped
just-
off the
they
fucking
just
radar,
dropped the
and that's
fuck
it.
off. We
Yeah.
haven't heard anything about it again.
We never got resolution on it.
There's
Like,
no
it was popped
resolution.
up, oh, we found this thing. They're analyzing it, but then there was just nothing.
Maybe
there was
China, and that's it.
There
We
was
got
no
truth,
denouement.
blue
Yeah.
balls.
Yeah.
We got truth, blue balls here.
My fucking balls.
Let's see. After sightings start proliferating exponentially after these incidents, so the U.S. military, specifically the Air Force, mostly, they kickstart Project Sign, 1948, which morphs into Project Grudge, 1949, and finally turns into Project Blue Book in 1952, which carries on to 1969 until it quote-unquote officially closes. But you see an evolution over these projects and what they're intended to do. Project Sign is to investigate. Project Grudge is meant to be more of an assessment, and then Project Blue Book is essentially a public relations campaign, for lack of a better term. So this is meant to, they enlisted, what's his name, J. Allen Hynek, famous physicist, to act as sort of a civilian go-between to explain to all the stupid little people what may or may not be going on. And he was actually brought in to debunk most of this shit, but the longer he stayed investigating this stuff, he was like, there's something to this. There's some weird shit going on. This is a strange aside, and I only include it for the weirdness factor, but we also have mention of a group called the Collins Elite. Now, the only source I have on this is a book by Nick Redfern, who is a pretty good researcher. I think he lives in Dallas, actually. The Collins Elite is an alleged group within these other groups and research projects that is essentially a fundamentalist Christian sect that was basically looking at ufology from a demonological aspect, which is something else we'll kind of get into later. I mean, if you're looking at it from the whole ultra-terrestrial thing, then maybe to a degree. But
and then if you read some of the stuff that JG here has
Yeah, all
kind
right.
of fills in a lot of blanks.
In that interview, like, forget, what did he say? Christ head or Christ
consciousness?
Christ consciousness.
Yeah, they throw those
When he
around a
threw
lot.
that shit around, I was like, god damn it. Not another one. Not another one.
See, the only reason I bring that up is because I saw this dude give a speech recently. I think his name was like Nathaniel Gilley or something like that. I'll try to include the link in the show notes. But he is basically building off what Jacques Vallée did with the whole, this
Valet or
stuff.
Valet?
I think it's Vallée. It may be either way. I don't know. It's French. Who knows?
Valet.
Jacques Vallée. So Jacques Vallée, he's the guy who put forward the notion that this phenomenon has been with us for ages and ages and ages, except that back in the day, it was just viewed through different perceptual filters like angels or elves and fairies, and then you have...
It's a convenient narrative, like it kind of makes it sound a little more feasible.
I know, and this is why ultra-terrestrial theory plays more with me, because it has a lot of the same built-in themes going, especially themes of reproduction, because like if you look at the Bible and you have the whole Nephilim story, angels come down and bang all the women, or if you look at all the elves and fairy shit, there's another reproductive angle.
Like the movie Prometheus.
Yeah, there's another reproductive angle with like changelings and hybridization program. Or if you look at it from a demonological aspect, you have incubi and succubi. So this dude...
all those just seem like adaptations of like...
An explanation for what they're seeing.
It's using layman-ass words to describe something magnificent.
Yeah, and that's what this dude...
Something
Gilly-
novel, yeah.
Fairies and gods are all fucking caveman, fucking monkey bullshit that we are still on this planet.
Well, that's what this
Maybe
dude...
they're ringtail lemurs.
This Gilly guy said... I think that's his
Pygmy
name.
marmosets.
He comes
Missy
out and
wanted to buy
says...
one. She was like, sent me a thing today. I want to buy a pygmy marmoset. I'm like, no, we're not.
This,
Anyway.
This dude, like, he has this theory that behind all this shit across time is the same intelligence, but this intelligence doesn't change, but it steps into our mythology and our understanding at the time to wear that suit, that fiction suit, in order to proliferate itself either by interbreeding with humanity or, like, mimetically, like, informationally.
So
To make a slow integration.
we are still
Yeah.
basically doing the same thing that the ancient aliens people claim that ancients were describing.
Yeah,
Like we're still using our layman ass fucking primitive monkey man terms
and
to describe
and that's why now we're
the
saying
magnificent space beings that come from the
Yeah.
fucking sky.
There's lots of pictograms and stuff in ancient shit that shows people coming out of the sky.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or us interacting with celestial beings of some sort.
Vimanas and flaming chariots, and like I mentioned, the biblical angels before. Like this is the underlying idea is that this is something that steps into these like fictional or mythological or folkloric sort of clothing, if you will, and wears it to interact with us and further proliferate its own myth, or proliferate via hybridization programs and interbreeding with us like in a very literal way.
He's saying they be fucking.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. You fucking? So, not only that, but he mentions how technology, like he starts specifically with the mystery airships of the late 1800s, and how these things have essentially masked themselves technologically as something that's always 2 or 3 steps ahead of us. So that there's sort of we've been introduced to various forms of fiction, pop culture that talks about, you know, Alcubierre drives and faster than light travel and shit like that.
Trilithium crystals.
Yeah, yeah. I can't do it without the lithium crystals. Yeah, all that shit. So, and actually, if you look into Gene Roddenberry, fucking that dude's connected to some weird shit, but that's another episode
he's an
for
alien,
later.
man.
But yeah, they're always like 2 or 3 steps ahead of us technologically or magically or whatever you want to call it. They're more evolved than us, but they like keep us on our toes either way. So whatever suit it is they're wearing, they appear just out of reach of what we know.
Yeah.
So it's always enough to like keep us fucking crazy, basically.
And that's I like that. I like
Yeah.
that explanation, that theory.
Yeah, and that's why, yeah, the ultra-terrestrial idea like makes the most sense to me so far, because you also have to consider like like if you think of like abductions, for example, what level of reality is this happening? Like I can say a unicorn is real because you've both heard of a unicorn. You know what a unicorn
There's like
is.
8,000 unicorns in my daughter's room.
See? So a unicorn does exist, but we're talking about at a certain level of reality, how it exists. So there are these different levels of a reality. So from that point on, you have thousands of sightings of ships. All these people have seen some kind of flying craft. And then not long after that, the abductions start. Betty and Barney Hill, many, many others, Whitley Strieber, etc. You also have the strange side of cattle and, in a few cases, human mutilations. I would say the most popular human mutilation cases, and these are fucking fascinating as shit. They're gruesome as fuck, but they're fascinating nonetheless. Major John Lovett.
Get to know me!
Not John Lovett.
Not John Lovett?
Yeah, no, not to be confused with acting.
That's my little joke.
Yeah, that's one story that is actually confirmed by military records. They say they saw a UFO abduct this man, and it's a weird one because it's weird how like these UFO visions and like the way it happens is explained over time. Like eventually you have tractor beams, but this is before that, and he gets picked up by some kind of like mechanical octopus arm and brought into the ship.
Yeah, just a cable that darts out instead of a tractor beam and
So
comes and snatches them up.
Yeah, it's weird how like the technology moves along with these visions or experiences or whatever it is. There's an even more well-known case of a man from Brazil, unknown identity. Well, people say they know his identity, but they've kept it secret out of respect for the family.
Oh, I found his name.
Oh, you did?
I'm not going to disclose it, though.
Okay, yeah.
Why not? Out of respect for the poor fuck.
Yeah, it's not going to help anything.
Was he dead?
Dead and then some.
Dude, yeah, he's a human mutilation victim. Like
super dead.
Yeah, there's pictures.
Dead.
D-E-D. Dead.
If you want to look
Is
at
he dead?
If you want to look at the pictures, look up the Billings Reservoir human mutilation. I don't recommend it because they are extremely rough. There's a false name that they've also been put under as well, because the location of the body when it was found was falsely attributed to like the Aquaguama Reservoir. It's actually the Billings Reservoir in Brazil. And this is another reason why Brazil is so well known for very extreme encounters and interactions and aftermath of these interactions.
Lordy.
Yeah.
Here's his face.
Okay, all right. We are looking. Jesus.
Yeah.
I was about to ask if I could read this little fun section right here. But
That's the Brazilian fella.
These are two well-known human mutilations. There are many more.
Yeah, click the thing so it shows.
Yeah.
See,
His
teeth are pretty straight.
The similarities between what happened to these two men and many others in this example.
And what happens to the cattle, too.
Yeah, and the cattle. The reports, and if you want to get further in depth, like, there's an old episode from the old episodes back in the day where we kind of covered some of this in our Linda Moulton Howe episode.
They took the tongues and the wieners, right?
Yeah. Genitalia taken.
I mean, did they make some lengua tacos?
Maybe.
Maybe the aliens just found out about how good lengua tacos are. Because I was skeptical for a real long time, but then
Menudo!
I actually tasted some of the fucking lengua tacos. And
yeah.
There's the butthole picture.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
They turned his butthole into a cooter.
Their rectums were cored out.
Cored out, like, you know the apple corer thing that cuts a cylinder in the middle of your apple?
Yeah.
That's what these fucking wounds are like.
That would not be easy for a human to do.
Yeah, and see, this Brazilian case, I thought cartel for a while, but the wounds are very precise. Everything that like went through one side of an arm in the Brazilian case, for example, came out the exact other side, and they all have the same diameter.
They're equidistant from the hemisphere of the equator.
Nice
the symmetrical blippity blop of the bilby.
No, equidistant.
He was missing numerous organs and all
of his internal organs, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Like
they sucked him out through that hole.
Well, not that hole, I don't think.
Through his belly button.
They said it was like a small slit in his stomach, and they used some kind of vacuum device to pull out his organs.
All right, listeners, y'all got to check this out. I did not have a chance to look at all this stuff. That's pretty.
It's pretty gnar.
It's gnar. Yeah, you got to have.
They took every orifice from his body, basically. His mouth, his asshole.
Yeah.
It's a little gory. I usually don't handle gore well.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Yeah. It's.
I don't want to see chopped up kids, but I can see old.
I think the bit of old timiness to the photo quality kind of helps.
And there's not a head.
It helps you detach from it.
Yeah. What else is extremely strange about both these cases is that carrion birds and predators, quote unquote, would not eat from these bodies, and these bodies did not display a normal putrefaction smell. They were said to have strange chemical smells to them.
Well, I can understand. I can kind of understand them not having a cadaver smell because all the organs are out, all the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the blood.
Big pile of meat.
I still smell like fresh meat.
If I leave a hamburger in my fridge too long, it fucking
the blood is completely drained as well.
But that doesn't matter.
That's hard to explain.
All right, if I leave a fucking
and there was a humoral edema.
If you leave a butchered steak in your fridge for too long, it smells bad.
Yeah. The Brazilian gentleman, who shall remain nameless, his autopsy report is a little more in-depth than Major Lovett's, so we get to know a little bit more about what exactly happened to him. And the most fucked up thing with the Brazilian dude is that, yes, he died of a cerebral edema, which means that, and the toxicology reports on his body shows that there was no anesthesia administered.
Or no paralyzing agent.
And no paralyzing agent. So if he was paralyzed, it was by other means than chemical.
But they say he would have had to have been paralyzed because the wounds were so precise.
Yeah,
that
he couldn't have been moving.
He couldn't have been jumping, like flexing away from the pain.
Yeah, and then Yeah, the cerebral edema proves that he essentially died of pain. He
Cardiac
had,
arrest caused by the
yep, he
severe
had
pain.
he was just and see, so who or whatever did this to
So
him
the theory is
has
that we made the deal with the Greys to let them do this.
yeah,
As per Matrix 2, yeah.
or to interbreed.
This is
But see, apparently he says later on they start abducting more than what they put in their reports. You know, they start the aliens start fudging their numbers a little bit.
Yeah, and the U.S. government's like, oopsie poopsie.
Like, hey, I know you took 300 people last month. This just says 225. What gives?
These invoices are all fucked.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna be here all day.
Guadapiranga Reservoir Mutilation was the other name.
Guadapiranga, yeah. It's mistakenly called the
That's the mistaken
Billings,
name.
yeah.
Billings was the
It
right.
was actually across the body of water from the Billings Reservoir.
Oh, I thought the Billings was the right name.
One of us-
Either way, if you look it up, you'll find it. Yeah, just Brazilian human mutilation.
That's how I found it.
This is rough stuff, man. It's
let me.
This fella.
I'm gonna read a little section.
and this is very similar to what happens to cattle. It's almost 100%
to the
dead
T.
on.
Same
Yeah,
tools,
to the
same
T-bone.
implements. Yeah.
From one point of view, the people who made a deal with the Greys were perhaps just as bad as those who sold us out during all of the wars we have been involved in. They sold out the United States of America for greed and power. Any person who views this country with such disdain warrants investigation. For the United States, even though it has its faults, is one of the last places where any investigations like this can take place. To have people suppress others is unacceptable. To have people attempt to overthrow the government is unacceptable. This is the other reason for this report. I do not agree with this situation and would like to see it stop before every vestige of freedom.
And I don't like it.
Any vestige of freedom and involvement is purged from our midst.
Is that from a Matrix?
Yeah, I'm reading the fucking book right here.
Okay. Huh.
Well, I'm
didn't
just
get-
reading some bullshit.
Well, I
From
thought
the mouths of
I thought it
babes.
might have been from Bill Cooper.
No.
for a second.
Yeah, I would have cited Bill Cooper. No, this is from the book.
Yeah, so in conclusion to these mutilation cases, these two being more of the well-known, if you look into Brazil specifically, there have been numerous, let's say, attacks by...
There's the holes in the
Oh,
armpit.
shit.
Yeah, they come out...
That's
The
right where your
cauterized-
artery is.
Yeah.
There's an artery right there.
Yeah, and
Probably how they sucked out the blood, yeah.
the wounds are cauterized like it was done with like a laser of some kind. So on top of these mutilation cases,
Not a
Brazil...
drop of fucking blood.
Yeah, Brazil has been known for more of these attacks by UFOs, the Chupa, things like that. Also look into the Varginha UFO incident in Brazil, which
So-
is very telling.
You're telling me that photo wasn't from a bad BBL and fucking lip injection?
No,
Uh-huh.
he has no lips.
Exactly.
He was.
Have you seen the people that they're doing the back alley fucking lip injections?
No, but I worked in Highland Park for a while, and
But
I've seen
they
some
get
pretty...
legit ones. They get legit ones. Have you seen the? There's like multiple people that have died from shit lip injections.
Ugh, I just,
Yeah, there was one.
Just remember the
case-
They were injecting concrete. It was in Dallas. The woman
it was
went
like Fix-A-Flat in their ass.
yeah,
or
she
something.
put Fix-A-Flat and concrete in the fucking ass.
what?
Yeah, to give the fucking BBLs.
Yeah,
bro.
it was some fly-by-night
God.
butt lift.
If you ever take a look at Cardi B's ass, that shit's all square, and she got that shit in Brooklyn in a fucking goddamn basement. And that's a story she is told, and it's some bullshit.
Wow.
They get Home Depot silicone and
if you
inject
pop
it
a
in your
hole in her
butthole.
ass, it'll self-seal.
Well, she's
Like slime.
Like slime, yeah.
Yeah, I just remember the Highland Park duck-lipped women from
Yeah,
back in
yeah,
the
no,
day.
that's legit.
Yeah, now you got. Well, never mind. I was
But
gonna talk about
for the
another
people that can, Jesus Christ, carry on.
Bimboization.
Oh, yeah, I've seen some of that.
Yeah. Where they
Oh,
get the big, like caricature lips and
Yeah.
tits and
and it looked like fucking freaks of nature.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty hot.
Desirable by some.
So yeah, on top of these mutilation incidents, we also have encounters and or abductions that result in radiation poisoning. This is something else we know to be true. Some of the more well-known examples of this would be the Falcon Lake incident of 1967. I believe that was in Canada.
Canada, eh?
Hey.
I'm drinking Canadian Boost tonight.
Sorry, let's talk about it.
One of the and another one of the more well-known incidences, which made a little bit more hay, was the Cash Landrum incident. This was two older women and their grandson or son. This occurred in 1980. They encountered a unidentified flying object, and then afterwards they saw 13 black helicopters essentially escorting it from out in the boonies wherever they saw it. They saw it from their car while driving late at night. But when they get home, they all get sick as shit, and it turns out when they go to the doctor in the next week, they've been dosed with severe radiation.
And where were they located?
I want to. Well, one of them's from Texas. I don't remember if it happened in Texas. It might. Fuck. I'll have to double check on that. But the Cash Landrum incident is especially well known because these women all assumed alien craft wasn't in their mind. They saw this, what they thought was an experimental aircraft with a military escort of multiple choppers, so they assumed that this was some unspecified flight experiment taking place. Yeah. And because of the radiation poisoning that they all suffered, they tried to sue the U.S. government, and eventually the case was thrown out. And they were at it for years and years and years. There's actually these women were interviewed on Unsolved Mysteries back in the day. So they were all over the media.
Love that show.
Yeah. Robert Stackiers. Good shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do know for a fact that people who have encountered these things, and once again, check Brazil, because holy shit, some of these cases with the radiation poisoning in Brazil, there's one where a dude just fucking straight melted. Once again, we don't know who it is or what it is, but they are fucking people up badly. Very badly. All you have to do is look at some of these pictures of the mutilations, the radiation poisoning. Holy shit.
It's hard to fake radiation poisoning.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when's it going to happen? So, from that point, this is where we get into another very, let's say, conspicuous, contentious, and overall complex part of things. But the story of one Paul Benowitz, Project Beta, and a dickhead by the name of Richard Doty of Air Force Office of Strategic Intelligence. This is essentially where we get the entire Dulce, New Mexico mythology. That all came from this incident. Paul Benowitz was a physicist who started a company that was doing dealings with the U.S. military called, it was like Thunder Technologies or Thunder Dynamics, something to that effect. But he was monitoring things going on through his backyard and looking into the mountains, and eventually saw all these different crafts and just strange goings on at night. He saw military personnel coming in and out of this mountain, which is essentially, I believe, the Archuleta Mesa, where Dulce, New Mexico is located, or alleged to be located, the Dulce base. And he eventually establishes, quote-unquote, contact with an alien via early internet in, like, the 80s.
The internet was
very
created by the military.
Yeah, DARPA.
I took the initiative in creating the internet.
And Matrix 1, which is the one I got the most reading done out of, this is before we know what eventually happens to Paul Benowitz. Because Paul Benowitz and some of the information he'd extracted from this quote-unquote alien source was one of the major contributing factors to the information used in the Matrix book, the first one at least, as far as I know. The alien, quote-unquote, that he was communicating with through the pre-internet and through phone lines and various conversations, allegedly, was actually Air Force Office of Strategic Intelligence Officer Richard Doty. Now, this dude is...
It's kind of a sad story.
Yeah, it is, because, long story short, Paul Benowitz was so convinced that there was aliens transpirings afoot.
And he thought they were communicating with him
specifically.
And he was like the chosen one
Yep.
to so.
And the whole time he's doing he's trying to pull a Hannibal Lecter on the aliens and be like, this is the alien psychology. He's trying to talk to them and get the most information he can out of them to determine any kind of weakness that humanity could use in the future struggle that was to come.
Because the guy's always been a patriot.
Yeah. Like we said, he was he's a smart guy. He was a physicist and he was doing work with the military. He even took all this information that he gleaned from this quote-unquote alien source and went to his nearest representation of the U.S. military and was like, look, I got this whole layout, I got these schematics, I got all this information. They're like, that's nice. And they just fucking dismissed him, basically. But years later, Doty would come out, and there's a famous documentary called Mirage Men. If you're into ufology, I highly suggest you check it out. But Doty straight up said, yeah, it was me.
Yeah, he was part of a misinformation campaign utilized against the UFO community, is basically to discredit the UFO community as a cover for their skunk works, their fucking super top secret
advanced aerospace
air superiority fighters and shit, the stealth blah blah blah. The campaign was to feed the UFO community with so much disinformation that when they do say something, when they show a video is like, hey, I found this over the airbase, the last thing anyone would believe from them when they say, oh, this might be government technology.
Tech, yeah.
Yeah, and
it was a clown op, as I like to call it.
Yeah, it's like, so this is alien tech, they're working with the aliens. But also, and then they have all this other bad information that can't be proven. So it basically discredits anything they have to say about anything.
Plus, in disinformation campaigns like that, if, say, an intelligence agency thinks they have a leak somewhere, they'll prepare 12 different stories.
Yeah, they leak them out.
Yeah, and then whichever story comes back to them are like, okay, well, we got it from that source, so they can trace the information, where it went, and how it was disseminated.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
And then people commit suicide.
Yeah. Paul Benowitz was eventually...
Fuck me, Figowitz.
Yeah, he was sent to the booby hatch, and just did not end well for him.
We don't have that anymore. I think we need to bring that back.
We do, but...
with a little more restriction than,
I mean, Terrell State Mental Hospital
is
Green Oaks.
Yeah, but
Sucks.
they closed down...
You can't smoke at Green Oaks anymore.
What?
You can't smoke anywhere anymore.
Yeah.
Well, the last time I was there, you could have a cigarette break every hour once you got past
smoke
suicide watch.
anywhere anymore.
Jesus. What are those poor people going to do now?
Well, they give you a patch now,
Okay.
but that doesn't...
Patch my ass.
I know in county jails, depending on the county jails, you can buy the little e-cigs.
Some county jails have PlayStation.
Yeah, they do.
And they bring you egg muffins in the morning.
Yeah.
Rub your feet.
Highland Park or Denton.
Yeah, and this whole Benowitz-Doty situation, this is nothing new. This is actually just a prime example
Sounds like
of...
pastries.
It's a prime example of what's been going on with ufology since its inception, in the modern era at least, because Roscoe Hillenkoetter, former head of the CIA, eventually became the head of NICAP, and this sort of set a precedent of government agents infiltrating ufology groups in very much the same way that Hoover was using COINTELPRO. For some reason, all throughout the Cold War, the government was allegedly concerned about the Russians infiltrating UFO groups, and then they were gonna... Exactly. Fucking, there's no, what's step two?
Crickets.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But they took from that point onward to basically just destroying these UFO groups, turning them against each other, and man, they do a fucking bang-up job.
Yeah.
I think those motherfuckers were just having fun sometimes.
Oh, I'm sure.
Not
Yeah.
all of them, because when...
Well, I mean, consider that the CIA is made up entirely of psychopaths almost.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, wait. Just so you know, according to Val Valerian, psychopaths, they're on another plane.
Oh, okay.
They're not crazy.
They've had a paradigm
Well, that's
shift.
an explanation for schizophrenics, too, yeah.
Yeah, they're seeing a different plane than we are. They're seeing shit that we can't see. So, yeah.
They've evolved out of the game, man.
illustrations and the descriptions in the Matrix books of the reptilians, they're not like scaly, like looking like the fucking thing in that glass cage over there.
Yeah, they're
You
like,
know, like the features are a lot softer. They look like grays, but a little different.
Oh, you talking about my lizard?
Yeah, I'm saying in the Matrix too. His description of the reptilians, you know, the pre-ick reptilians, his description of them is a lot less like a traditional reptilian. They're more like a gray, but just slightly like a triangular head.
like a hyper evolved lizard or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but without it's not like the traditional like reptilian like a Komodo dragon inside of a suit.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
All of them are the Komodo dragon inside of his suit.
yeah.
There's some woman,
Peel her face off.
I forget her name. Actually, no, I think it was Laura Knight Jadchick, who is a fucking cuckoo bird. But she is like a channeler, and she put this book out that included pictures of crocodile penises because she included it because she talked to so many
Don't
people.
they have a cloaca?
Cloaca.
Well, yeah, but that's, I mean, you can still have a,
There's a penis in there.
yeah. Yeah, it comes out from like
Yeah,
a sheath
it's
or whatever.
There's a wiener, just like
You gotta stick your finger in the cloaca to see if it's a male or female.
Yeah. If it's a and she included it.
Micro's dirty jobs.
She included it because she had talked to so many people who said that they'd been rapid by reptilians, and they were like, "Is this what the genitalia look like?" And it was like, "Oh God, yeah."
Point on the alligator where he.
No
stuck it in
offense
you.
to anyone who's been
Wait, are we live?
done by a reptilian.
Of course
You know, we realize these are traumatic experiences. We just are trying to understand. Outside of the radiation poisoning, the mutilations, the other bit and last bit of physical evidence we have are the various implants that have been removed from people. And now this is also a bit of a bone of contention because we don't know necessarily that these are from outer space or alternate dimensions or whatever you want to call it. A lot of people try to make hay out of saying that this stuff is made out of elements that you find in comets and meteors, but so is most of what's on Earth.
I can literally buy meteorite steel to make knives out of.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The weird part...
There's knives found in King Tut's tomb that were
exactly.
forged from meteorite iron.
Forged from meteorite iron.
Tibetan Buddhists use that shit too.
And my dad, as far as implants go, my dad has a goddamn copperhead BB stuck right next to his eye.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
They were a little harder back then. They had BB gun fights.
Yeah.
And
these kids today.
No mask.
yeah.
The strangest part, however, that you will find about most of these are like these alien implants, we'll call them. We'll just call them implants for now. Many have been proven to give out radio waves. They've been said to like be powered by the human body by motion or biochemical reaction and react to this inside the body, and then they essentially act like RFID chips that you put in your dog or cat or whatever.
After our Sonic Warfare episode, like, I'm a little more accepting of the whole
technology side of this.
Well, the frequencies and waves and all that stuff. Even though listening to the interview with old Val Valerian here, there was a little bit, which now is accepted term wooey woo. It was very wooey woo, new agey, and
if he's not dead, he sounds like he needs to maybe be taken down a peg.
No, he's dead.
Okay.
He as far as I know.
Well, that's the ultimate peg to be taken down then.
The thing that, because he's on a remote place in Washington, it made me think of the movie War Games. Y'all seen that? Where they
Matthew Broderick?
Yeah, with Matthew Broderick. Where they track down the guy that created fucking the smart computer that fucking is launching all the bombs. And the guy just lived further outside of Seattle and in the middle of nowhere. And he's just this weird guy that lives on an island outside of fucking Seattle. So that's how I pictured Valdemar Valerian.
John Grace.
Valley V.
That's how I pictured him in his latter years, and I really do want to know, please, anyone, y'all feel like doing some side research?
Anyone?
Send it to kooksandcranks@gmail. We need some goddamn listener responses here.
Yeah. We want to talk to you guys.
Be a junior detective here and track down what's up with Val Valerian.
Yeah.
Valdemar Valerian, a.k.a. John Grace.
Voldemort Valerian.
Great work, Gumshoes.
But he fucking, he did, basically, if you look on his... Oh, where all my icons went away.
I've got a little bit of a interactive aspect to some stuff we were talking about earlier that I was going to throw at our listeners later.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got the implants. That's another bit of something that we can say we know. When it comes to this medical stuff, I actually found a whole book of like 300 instances in which people had encounters or abductions with something, and they had previous medical ailments or diseases that were mysteriously cured afterwards. I don't know how accurate all this stuff is. And this is the problem with this medical shit too, is because the records are sealed. You can't verify a lot of it, but there's a lot of women who say that they've been subjected to this hybridization program who end up subjected to what is called a phantom pregnancy. Now, well, close to it. A phantom pregnancy is they think they're pregnant, they might miss their monthlies, and then think they're pregnant, they go to the doctor.
Yeah, but actually it's they don't know they're pregnant, and it's a show on MTV, right? I didn't know I was pregnant.
My MTV reality daddy.
I thought that was all just fat ladies.
I didn't want to say that.
Honey Boo Boo.
I will say it.
Honey Boo Boo is from outer space. The way that these are working, though, according to some of these anecdotes, is that these women find out they're pregnant, they go to the doctor, they are confirmed to, in fact, be pregnant, and this will be within, like, a 3-month, period. They'll be 3 months along. They'll go back for a follow-up within 6 months, and the baby's just gone, and it's like they'd never even been pregnant.
Just gas.
This is off into the ether.
It's a swamp gas pocket.
But once again, I mean, these are medical records that are sealed. Plus, I mean, if you're a woman who underwent something weird like that, I would understand the reticence to not want to quite openly disclose it. So I get it. From there, we jump to one of the things that has really perplexed me about aliens have been all over the fucking news lately. I mean, it's become a big thing. It's not just the, ancient aliens,
Honestly,
hoopla.
it hasn't become big enough of a thing, the fact that...
To make anyone say or do anything about it?
Well, because all of it...
Just TikTok clips.
That's the thing. All of it has come out during so much other shit.
Yeah.
The original, during COVID,
I think
during our fucking,
is
whole
on
lockdown,
purpose.
It is, that was the whole thought behind it. It's like, why the fuck are they talking about it now? And that's the thing.
Trust in the government.
There's so much going on, and then they're like,
right
you know what? Aliens are real, or they're not aliens, but UFOs or UAPs are real. We released this footage from fucking the U.S. Navy, and we're like, we're gonna admit we don't know what the fuck that is.
Yep.
And it just happens to be
it's the first time the government's ever said it out loud. I think we don't know what the fuck's going on.
During a time when everybody's like, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
I need fucking toilet paper.
You guys are a bunch of fucking... We know what you do at those parties.
Yeah,
it's
like really, like, people are just worried about goddamn, I guess it's pre-Diddy. Pre-Diddy.
That's the
pre-Diddy nation
moment in our history.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have to, mark times as pre-Diddy.
B-Diddy and
P-D-A-D.
Pre-Diddy and post-Diddy.
So, yeah.
After Diddy.
The UAP hearings, obviously, that's a huge step, but once again, I think it's for a specific purpose. I think it's social engineering.
One little thing about the UAP hearing with the Congress, the official position, even after this disclosure,
is we don't know shit.
Is we don't have any proof.
We have nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So once again, this guy said, "Oh yeah, we
non-human biologics."
Biologics, But the Air Force, the official statement of the government is that we still have no proof.
Plus, all the real shit that they had to talk about had to be conducted on the SS Minnow or a skiff or whatever it's called. They had to go off and talk about it off screen.
It was like a specified disclosure. There was some kind of word they had to. He's like, yeah, I can tell you in the other room.
Yeah, exactly.
Off camera.
What the fuck are we doing here?
And all those congressmen that were interviewed after the fact, they were like, yeah, we talked about some stuff. I can't talk about it here.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just kicking the can down the street.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
What's the guy that's in charge of it now? That he's the
Grush?
No. Oh yeah, Grush.
He's the guy. He's the whistleblower.
No. There was Matt Gates. Is part of the UAP thing, and he's one of the, I think he was jacking off or something. I can't remember his whole thing.
Mellon, Christopher Mellon. He's related to the Carnegie Mellon family. Very old money in the United States history.
Because
not Gallagher.
No. No.
The Sledge-O-Matic.
What's the guy? You know, I get no respect.
Oh,
Rodney Dangerfield.
His name was Mellon in the fucking.
Hey, if I make this world, I'm gonna go on a UFO.
I tell you, I just found out my wife screams during sex. Yeah. Especially when I walk in on her. Oh.
There was one incident before, I believe it happened before the UAP hearings, however, and it's kind of half and half, before and after. The Peruvian aliens. Now, when you say Peruvian aliens, there are the...
Mache.
Yeah, but
yeah.
That should make me so mad. That
Now,
made me so mad. Why are we even talking about it?
There's that.
Such a lo-fi version of any of this shit, you know.
Well, there's that, and then there are the villagers who live off in the boonies who were attacked by beings that they said were levitating, who had advanced weapons, and that were impervious to bullets and knife wounds. And the Peruvian government came out and said that this was a gold mining syndicate. Now, if you want me to fucking believe that this is a gold mining syndicate, why the fuck would a gold mining syndicate with that kind of technology not be trying to capitalize on that technology as opposed to mining gold? That fucking doesn't make sense to me.
You can maybe
ancient descriptions, like these people that were
the pelacadas, face peelers.
They've never seen a fucking helicopter. They've never seen a Harrier jump jet.
This is Peru, man. They
got cell phones.
They're growing cocaine out there, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking like there's
lots of.
They're growing cocaine and fucking harvesting gold in Peru. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, these people live in a village, but they have
silver too.
It's
a
village.
Right?
But that's the thing.
They have
like,
up-to-date cell phones.
Like, the world is like there's still possible not settled parts, but everybody's wearing. If you look at those villagers in the videos when they go there, they're wearing goddamn Mickey Mouse t-shirts.
They'll have
John.
like comic relief shirts, like comic relief '94 shirts and shit.
They just felt like, I shouldn't wear this Sean John shirt anymore. Probably.
Yeah. It's a thing. Like there is not a whole shitload of the world that we have not. Yeah, when I
culturally infected,
tiny little pockets,
tiny. They're
they're
minuscule pockets of people that have still not seen other like. Everybody's seen a fucking airplane. It's not like a fucking. It's
not Hervé Villachese on Fantasy Island going the plane.
That has not seen a fucking plane fly overhead and been explained to by their elders like. Oh no, that's just the fucking airplane.
And there was viral footage of one of these entities, whatever you want to call it, that was sort of, they sort of, cat up a tree. They caught it and they chased it onto the roof of this building, and an angry mob gathered below, and they're all pointing and yelling and videotaping it with their phones, and this thing is just chilling the fuck out. And what pisses me off about these stories like this is not only do we have the bullshit excuse that these were some gold mining syndicate with access to hyper fucking technology, but there's never any fucking follow through with stories like this. You have to dig and dig and dig, and I dug and dug and dug, and I haven't found anything other than the Peruvian government came out and said it was gold mining syndicates. End of story.
See, that's the thing. Is it because there was nothing there, or is it because?
Well, it's one or the other.
Also, quick aside, I'm looking through the book right now, and the map of the chakras, and they're showing the chakra, and it has nothing to do with the butthole, but the taint is very important apparently.
That's where the prostate is.
That's the root chakra.
Yep.
The taint.
Yeah. Because I believe we talked about it in Saturn Death Cult, but yeah, the chakras are aligned to your endocrine system glands.
Interesting.
And that's that was some of the reasoning behind why these human and cattle mutilations take place, because they're harvesting glandular secretions.
Oh, in his
in order to
of Gray is kind of Like, that fool's been doing his push-ups.
Yeah,
and
now
shit.
see, that's what I think it is. With
That's a buff ass grade.
That is a buff-ass grade.
With the cattle and human mutilations, the asshole taking,
Yeah.
the armpits, it's like those are active. Like there's all the fucking lymph nodes
Yeah.
in your armpits. The asshole is an entry port inside the body, so you can understand why an alien species would be interested in. Okay, this hole goes in, so it's either for food
Or
or
it's
for exhaust.
the
you know,
easiest
like,
access to
Spencer,
those glands.
Are you
and
an alien?
aren't we
if
all
I
aliens?
would I tell you?
I don't know. I was trying that trick with the.
No, I'm just.
What's the creature that you got to they only can answer the truth if you ask them the right question? Not vampires, right?
No.
No, they have to be invited inside.
You're talking about a
Yeah.
gin?
And they also have obsessive compulsive
Somebody
disorder.
has.
You're talking
I
about
know
a
you
gin,
throw the
right?
matches on the ground. They got to pick them up.
Yeah.
That's a Rain Man.
It's also Rain Man.
There's a lot of crossover between vampires
there
and Rain
is.
Man. Definitely Rain Man vampires. Definitely.
Yeah, no, I've heard of that. Yeah, like they have to. It's some kind of
I think it's I know what you're talking about. But I
yeah,
can't
if you
remember.
throw something down like a bunch of toothpicks down, they have to pick them up. Or,
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's
Anyway,
that's
this
vampires
alien's
and other
jacked.
stuff. Yeah. So yeah, and if you look at Volume 5 of the Matrix, I didn't look at this till just now.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
tonight,
this is
but
Volume
yes,
5.
That's
this
the
is,
join the cult.
Yeah, this
variety.
is a whole how to ascend, get your mind right according
This
to.
is the multi-level marketing.
Yes,
part of
yes,
it, you know.
exactly.
My stupid fucking update made it so that all my fucking windows closed that I had. But yeah, I had his company, and there was a link to some kind of course you could take that costs $100.
Yeah.
So, because my
That's
whole
the
thing
introductory fee, and then
Yeah.
the next one costs
Yeah.
$1,000.
my whole
Yeah.
thing was, how is this guy making money from this? And
Mail
I
order.
eventually found it on his website.
Mail order introductory courses to enlightenment, etc.
No, it was online.
Or well, now yeah.
It was originally online, I'm sure.
These kinds of things
Or-
have been around since like the 1920s. But yeah, some of the chapter names are Tests in the Higher Self, Parts 1 and 2, Obstacles Caused by Faulty Decisions, The Nexus of Time,
Emotional fire.
Observations, The Higher Self and What No One Can Do for You.
Incarnating paths and higher self-individuality.
Be satisfied being you, incarnational levels.
Forced conformity.
Forced conformity.
Faux balance. Oh man.
When Earth's vibrations get too heavy. Sorry, there's the
Yeah.
there's a little thing blocking.
I
it.
saw the thing that says 21 and 22. It says test, and then I thought it said testicles caused by faulty decisions.
And then the
Just
final
wanna grow
one,
some extra pairs.
faux balance.
Yeah. That's probably got to do with his bank account. So yeah. This has pretty much been our Val Valerian episode. We're kind of dipping our toes a little bit into the alien stuff
Because there's so much more.
Yeah.
We're planting seeds
and-
here, and what fruit may be bared later.
Yes, we're gonna get into some more serious aspects of the whole ufological phenomenon
Because
down the
there's
road.
good stuff there.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
A lot of bullshit. This
Once-
aliens are what got me into the whole world that I am delving into.
Yeah,
It is like as a child, I got the alien books from my grandma, my mom. They hooked me up. We would go to Half Price and I
Yeah.
get some alien books, and I'm like, this shit's tight. But at the same time, as an adult, looking at a lot of it with more critical eyes,
yep.
it is
It's largely baseless. We
But-
know so little.
Pretty baseless.
But for disclosure purposes, for real disclosure, I will say that I actually did see I guess it's a UAP, UFO, UAP. I did see something when I was out walking the yard in Texarkana. It was nighttime, and I saw a thing, and it moved a little funny. And I was dead sober, hadn't done a drug in fucking like 2 years, 3 years at that point. And I was in complete sound mind, the best shape of my life, and I saw a thing in the sky, and you know what? It keeps me interested.
Yeah. There's something going on here.
Always something there to remind you.
Yeah, I've mentioned before that I've had experiences, encounters, if you will, but I always have the psychological escape hatch of either being in a hypnagogic state or on psychedelic drugs. But I don't think that makes it any less real on some certain occasions that I can remember specifically. It's weird that, like, just take, for example, that you have all these different people around the world from different cultures who've never met, who all take DMT and all encounter an entity. Like, that in itself is fucking weird.
Yeah.
There's something there.
The thing
and there's so many different sources of DMT in plant life.
The thing that makes me open to the whole woo-woo part is, yeah, of course, I was on mushrooms, but... As on mushrooms, I have felt I don't know, I look at the sky, like I mostly look at the sky when I take them, and I am seeing different things, and it's not just the hallucinations, but I am feeling a little bit different. I don't know. Y'all know I don't fucking feel shit. I'm a goddamn, I like to look at things, I like to see it. If it ain't there, I don't, but... On those times, that's the only thing that gives this wooey woo shit just a little sliver to slide in.
Maybe it takes aliens to make us all realize we're human.
Shut up.
See you next week, everybody.
So before we take off, we're working on our next big episode, basically, for next week. It's going to be a little experimental compared to what we normally do with our bigger episodes. But
aren't they all experiments?
Yeah, it's pretty true. But this was the interactive bit I was talking about. kooksandcranks@gmail.com. Please email us, especially if you are a DFW or surrounding area native.
You can also catch us on Facebook, Instagram.
Yep.
And if you want to contact any of us individually, we are also there. But
yeah, and donate to our through Spotify as well, if you would like. We would like very much.
Yeah, help us level up, everybody.
Yeah. If you have any specific DFW-centric, let's say urban legends, crazy true crime stories, things that are not necessarily well known, like we all know Lady of the Lake.
Don't give us Lady of the Lake.
Never.
We will not respond to a Lady of the Lake.
Every fucking town in America has Lady of the Lake.
I mean, Goatman, if you have a specific like Goatman encounter, fucking mwah, yes. If you give us, like, haunted snuffers or haunted Hotel Adolphus, like, everyone knows that shit, too. Yeah, like, that's all touristy bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, if you have access or firsthand experience, and we will drop your name, we will credit you totally.
At least some, like, cool history.
Yeah,
that
cool.
It leaves a question mark in the air.
Cool, obscure history. We'll count, strange weirdness, true crime.
Chris will even buy you lunch while we interview you.
Depending
I will cook you lunch.
I'll make you a PB&J. So yeah, if you've got anything, please contribute, because this is going to be sort of, we've got something cooking up in the works. It's going to be, well, I'll say as far as DFW residents go, a team effort. So
deep in the heart of Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, that's today's episode. I am Mike Luck.
Spencer Lowry.
Chris Wells.
and
yes, contact us at kooksandcranks@gmail.com. And then hit us up. I'm Christ ACAB. Spencer is
I am Reptilian Superlord. Spencer Lowry on Facebook. Flaccidism on Instagram.
And Mike, I think, is actually just using our fucking Kooks and Cranks.
I'm Mick Luck on Facebook, but yes, I don't really frequent very much. And please, it feels so good to give, because we know it feels good to receive. But
really,
yes,
even if you just want to holler at us, because we would like some interaction.
We don't need your money.
If you want to call Mike out on his the way he mispronounced a certain word or something or a name,
I would love that. I can't get enough of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, this has been Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclast. Tune in next week for some DFW delirium.
Bye.
See ya.